I read every day for 30 days. Well, kind of.
No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message.
Every day, our brains are bombarded with all kinds of information. We're flooded with the news around us and countless notifications that seem to draw us in every time. In a world where you're always triggered into a sensory overload, how do you learn to read consistently? Habit building is objectively hard, but more so when we're surrounded by the distractions of the modern world. This video is the story of how I went from this to this in 30 days.
So when I asked myself why I wanted to do this, I came up with two main reasons. The first was that I always loved reading books, to the point where when I was younger, I remember going to book fairs with my family and coming back with my loot, and it was exciting and happy, and I couldn't wait to finish my books. But then as the time went by, especially in grad school, I felt like life overwhelmed me so much that habit kind of slipped off to the point where I was barely reading. And another thing that I thought I was struggling with was that when I was trying to read as well, I was having a really hard time focusing on the task at hand. My phone had become my biggest enemy. It kept distracting me to the point where I couldn't read 3 pages without glancing at my phone, and I know that is just super problematic, and I knew I had to fix that. My library is full of books, and when I glanced at it, I realized a lot of it was books I thought I was supposed to be reading and not really books I wanted to read in the moment. This is not to say you're not to read books that are outside of your comfort zone or your typical field of interest, but when you're trying to get back to reading or starting to read in the first place, setting unreasonable goals like trying to read a book that you barely have any interest in just because you think you should be reading it is going to set you up for failure. It's not gonna help at all. So I decided I wanted to start with fiction for sure. I love stories. I'm a big fan of good storytelling, and so the first book I decided to go for was An Artist of the Floating World by Kazuo Ishiguro. Instead of trying to build a habit, if we strive to set a system for us that allows us to build that habit automatically, reducing the friction between the activity we're trying to do and our surroundings, it helps so much. And to build any kind of healthy systems, we need structure. So I set some guidelines for myself. I use Matt's 2-day rule to help set some kind of accountability in my life. So essentially the rule just states that you can't go 2 days back to back without doing the activity that you're trying to build a habit of. On days I did not want to read, I treated reading fewer pages as a win and not as something to be looked at as a negative.
Set a fixed time-based or page-based goal that you can adhere to every day. For example, I used to set my goal at 25 minutes of reading every day.
If you're trying to build a new habit, going into it thinking that you're going to win every day, it's not going to work out. You're going to set yourself up for disappointment. It's already 10 o'clock. By the time I eat dinner and take a shower and wrap everything up, it's going to be late enough that if I end up reading for 30 minutes or more, I won't make it. What helped a lot was trying deeply to be kind to myself, because I have to leave room for the fact that I am human. I will have bad days when I wouldn't want to read. As long as I told myself that it was okay to not do the activity I set out to do today if I could make up for it tomorrow, and then held myself accountable, like I said, the next day. it worked beautifully. My mindset shifted entirely. Another thing I had to come to terms with was the fact that it's okay to quit a book midway, and I know it sounds strange, but it really is. When you're trying to watch something on Netflix or YouTube, and if you don't engage with the content, you do not beat yourself up about it because you quit halfway. I started reading this book. It's called The Gods of Olympus, and it's a really good book. It's just information overload though, and I was not prepared, I suppose, to deal with the kind of information that this book produced. This is not what I was in the mood for, and I told myself it's okay. I'd much rather read a book I'm enjoying. If you're someone who's trying to read more, get back to reading, or just starting to read again, / at all,
Know that reading every day is not easy. It was never meant to be. But like anything else, habit building is like muscle training. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Consistency is a hard piece to tackle. But if you start today, it could be your first day on your journey to your 30 days of consistent habit building. The only question that remains now is, are we going to seize the day or continue making excuses?
Thank you for watching today's video. If you had fun with it, please subscribe to my channel. Share it with someone who you think might enjoy this video as well, and drop down in the comments what else you'd want me to try out for 30 days. This is the first video in my series of 0 to 60 where I'm trying to better myself and build better habits, and I'm so excited to go on this journey with you. If you'd like me to make another video that talks more about what kind of tools I use to help myself read more and what I'm reading currently, and if you're interested into that, I'd love to make a video about it. Drop that down in the comments as well. Until then, see you next time.